All right, everybody, welcome to January 2026. Huzzah, right? Here we are. The new year is upon us, and I wanted to do your individual zodiac readings, but I thought this, because of what you have said to me over the past, I read the comments, over the past couple of weeks. I did this in mid-December and you liked it a lot, so I'm going to do it again today. And what that means is I'm going to go through the astrology of January and tell you what to look for. And then I'm going to go through each of the zodiac signs, Capricorn, all the way around to Sagittarius. I'm going to give you specific information for your sign. I recommend you watch your rising sign first, then your sun sign, then your moon sign. And you might want to take little notes about how January's astrology is impacting each one of those signs and see if you can bring together kind of a specific, very personalized message for yourself. Okay. There will be extendeds for each of the zodiac signs. I will be starting a tarot reading and I will be finishing the tarot reading in the extended. I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do at the end of each of the zodiac introductions and pointing out specific information that you might need to know. Then I'll go into the tarot reading. I will go deeper in the extended. So you will get a lot of information for each of the zodiac signs, regardless of whether you go into the extended or not. But if you want to, they're there. Okay. I know you guys really like the extended, so I'm not going to not do that. Okay. So the first thing I want to say to you is January is a super powerful month. If you have felt, I don't know, held back or a little bit like this is just like a kind of spitballing time of year, or I don't feel like I have any energy to do anything, January is going to change all that. Okay. January is a powerful activation month. It is about materially getting stuff done, right? We're in Capricorn season, and Capricorn is all ruled by Saturn, is all about creating structures. And it always is. The beginning of the year that's why people do New Year's resolutions. Like, I want to build something. I want to create something. And then we move into Aquarius time at the end of the month and people can, sort of float off. But this year is different. Okay. And why is January kicking off 2026 in this particular way gonna kind of take hold? Tell you why. Because of Saturn. And Saturn and Neptune, you've heard me talk about this for a while. Saturn and Neptune moving into the energy of Aries. We have Neptune going first at the, I'll give you the dates and everything in my astrology overview here. But Neptune moving into the energy of Aries, which is very action oriented, out of Pisces. And Pisces is not action oriented. Okay. Pisces is about love and creativity, but it's not about putting pen to paper or putting your feet on the floor and getting going. It's not about those things. Neptune getting out of that energy, even though Neptune loves Pisces, it rules Pisces. Neptune getting into Aries says the vision can now become real when I take action. Saturn's going to follow, but not until February. And then the two of them on February 20th are going to form a conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries, which all of us in the astrology world have been talking about for months and months now. This is going to be a powerful activation of the entire year. So it's almost like you're getting a free month to put plans in action of what you want to bring into 2026, even though it is 2026, what you want to bring into 2026. And then there's this beautiful moment of Saturn and Neptune saying, okay, this is a new spiritual vision that we are going to put our feet on the floor and take action on. So January is the time you might feel a lot more aligned with doing stuff. All right, so let me just give you, these are the themes of January 2026. And it's because there's some things going on that bring me to this conclusion, right? There's a strong cluster of planets. We start the month with, Venus and Mars and the sun in Capricorn. We have that going on for us. And so there's a sense of like Venus is what I want and Mars is how to get it. And the sun is activating both of those planets. And then we have Mercury coming in a little bit later. So these are clustering. And, you can have multiple planets. If you take my astrology class or you take my astrology lives, there's something called a stellium, which is multiple planets in one sign, but they don't all have to be like tight. They can be across the 30 degrees. So they may be not even talking to each other all that much, right? But these planets are tightly connected. And that's activation energy. Conjunction is very strong activation energy. So in the sign of Capricorn, it's like, I'm going to have the energy and the awareness of what I want and the planning and right, which we've already done, to get things moving, right? To take action. So the month of January, these are the themes: structure and momentum. All right. A strong Capricorn energy in the beginning of the month brings drive to build and plan. You can build and plan at the same time, but to take disciplined action. Okay, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, disciplined action. Later in the month, we move into Aquarius, and the historical ruler of Aquarius is also Saturn. So it like continues, which is really beautiful. I love this time of year because a lot of times in the past, Aquarius can feel a little floaty, but because we have so many planets in Capricorn and then moving into Aquarius, there's some kind of like weight or gravitas or forward motion that is initiated in Capricorn that gets expanded in Aquarius. So this month is really incredible. The second thing is that January will help you clarify and get crystal clear on what it is that you want and knowing how to get it, right? The Venus cazimi, Venus conjunct the sun, and Mars cazimi, Mars conjunct the sun. There's an elevation of like, I know exactly what I want and I know how to get it done. Venus is also about your worth and value and knowing your worth and value. If that has been a block in the past, that's no longer going to be a block. It's like the sun is the best disinfectant, okay, of getting rid of those yucky things that kind of float around and like, I don't know if I'm worthy of doing this. Bye-bye. The sun is going to just burn them away, okay? It's going to burn that away. I have this really weird image of like macaroni and cheese on a flat top griddle where someone's like, it's just going to burn it away. Like, I really wish you would watch that, but the vision was there. So I'm going to tell you about it. Okay. The next theme is vision and innovation. And because of the Aquarian, because these planets are moving then into Aquarius, it's going to expand the vision. This is what I was talking about, that like we keep on going with the Saturn energy because both of these signs are ruled by Saturn, but we get more vision. It's like, okay, I got this plan and I'm going to put it into place and I'm going to take action on it. Yes, it's what I want. There's a refinement in Aquarius that says, oh yeah, okay, maybe not that. Maybe this little part of it doesn't appeal to me. So I'm going to get rid of that. But I still have the building and visioning energy to get another thing in its place. Do you know what I'm saying? So like how you start out, there may be some parts of it that don't make sense later on or aren't exactly what you want. Maybe you were doing something to please somebody else and you're like, screw that, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to put it in place how I want things to move forward. So the sun, Venus, Mercury, and Mars all moving into Aquarius as well. This awakens your visionary capability again, so you can make modifications and improvements. It awakens the collective thinking. So we may see that there's some kind of, when we put something in place or when we're moving something forward, something that happens in early January, we may have a new sense of the collective's opinion or viewpoint on what we're doing. So we're also, if that awakens collective thinking, it also awakens networks and future-oriented communication. So something here can be about using technology to bring your vision forward. So like maybe, in the beginning of the month, you're sort of like, well, I have kind of a traditional way of doing something, Saturn, Capricorn, But now moving into Aquarius, I'm really going to innovate this, and I'm going to install some kind of scaling technique, or I'm going to use AI or use technology to make this easier, bigger, finish it quicker, whatever it is. Technology is the key. Okay, so using vision and innovation this month is going to be a theme to materially get something done. Now, there's also moving away from the Capricorn energy and into Aquarius. Pluto is in Aquarius right now, and the sun is moving through Aquarius. So this Cazimi idea, right? I've been talking about the Venus Cazimi, which is conjunction with Venus, conjunction with Mars is known as a Cazimi. Pluto has a Cazimi. So the sun, once a year, Pluto is going to have this happen. Pluto's in Aquarius. The sun's going to conjunct Pluto, and it's going to shine a light on deep transformation. Okay. So this Pluto Cazimi highlights collective transformational themes. While Neptune's transit into Aries, that's another thing that's happening, is going to set long-term visionary collective thinking in a new cycle, right? Aries is the first sign. So it's like a new cycle. It's a 1 year. So this is a new cycle happening. And so kind of simultaneously, this Pluto being activated by the sun says, okay, you guys have all these plans. You're putting things in place. You're taking radical action or massive action, and you're moving things forward. Then you're thinking about technology. Pluto says, is this deeply transformative? Is this purposeful? Is this action just to take action? Or is it about being deeply transformed? And I feel like that's not even like, you're going to be like, is that a real question? Because honestly, like everything you're going to be doing is deeply transformational. So, but Pluto kind of activates that in you that says, is this, it's more about is it deeply transformational for me? Well, yeah, it is. But what about for the collective? And we're going to have some themes of collective, deep transformational, experiences or themes that we want to activate in terms of what we want to move forward. It has to be progressive. Pluto in Aquarius is all about the collective transformation, progress, right? The age of Aquarius. We're moving in a progressive kind of way. Capricorn can be a little regressive, right? But I love the fact that Saturn like kind of is also ruling Aquarius. So there's something about anything that was kind of building structure and momentum on old ideas. No, that's no longer going to be a thing. So you could start out this month going, well, I really want to do this particular thing. I think it's going to move my business forward. I think it's going to move my relationship forward. But as we get through the month, you might be like, that's not innovative enough. It's not deeply transformational enough. Okay. So there can be some inspiration that happens when Pluto conjuncts the sun that sparks this. Is it meaningful? Is this busy work or is this meaningful? All right. And then the moons, the lunations that happen this month, the full moon in Cancer on the 3rd is about security, right? That's what Capricorn and Cancer, the opposite signs, have in common. January 3rd is Capricorn season. The moon in the opposite sign, the full moon in the opposite sign of Cancer is about, is it emotionally secure? So something can be physically and tangibly secure, like, the scaffolding is really, but do I feel emotionally secure with this? And then the new moon later in the month in Capricorn is about your ambitions and goals again. So there's definitely some check-ins here where we go and we see, is this deeply transformational enough? Is this enough of a new idea or a new beginning? Am I putting the time and energy into something that's going to take me far into the future? Or am I just recreating something traditional that isn't deeply transformational enough for the collective or myself? And do I feel safe in this new vision? All right. So this is the energy, the overall themes. Now let me give you some dates here. All right. I'm going to look at my notes. I'm going to give you some dates here about what we can expect. So here's so in the beginning of the month, we have Mercury entering Capricorn. This is happening the very first couple of days of the month. Mercury enters Capricorn on the 1st, then Chiron goes direct on the 2nd. So Mercury entering Capricorn is about this. It's like the focus shifts, right? The focus shifts from Mercury and Sagittarius, which is kind of visionary, right? Is visionary about philosophy and why I'm doing something. And Mercury entering Capricorn, the focus shifts to structured thinking and long-term goals. Okay, so that happens. Chiron going direct. Chiron going direct says all this stuff I've learned internally since last July, since Chiron went retrograde. Chiron's our wounded healer. All of these kind of wounds that I've been working with, I'm ready to take action on them, take structured action on them. So the Chiron going direct can be part of your thinking in terms of structure and momentum and visions and innovations in June. Oh my gosh. In the mid-month, we have Venus entering Aquarius. This is about relationships, values, and social connections. Will take on an innovative, community-oriented tone. Okay? It's going to be about the collective. And the sun entering Aquarius later in the month. This is about consciousness expanding toward a humanitarian vision and a collective thinking. January 20th to the 23rd, Mercury enters Aquarius. So Mercury moves through Capricorn and enters Aquarius in the month of January. And now mental processes are drawn into future focus, right? Unconventional ideas can be happening later in the month. This is like what I said. You've got something you want to put together and you can take massive action on it. Later in the month, there's this like tweaking energy. And then Mars enters Aquarius later in the month. This is assertive, action-oriented energy that favors this kind of new wave thinking, right? Favors independence, innovation. And then the end of the month, Neptune enters Aries. This is a big deal, a major outer planet ingress. Neptune finally transitions into Aries after its back and forth retrograde into Pisces in 2025. It launches a long-term cycle of inspiration and visionary energy and this archetypal spiritual warrior energy through 2039. Okay, it's Neptune's in Aries until 2039. Saturn's going to join it in February. We'll talk about that next month. But when this happens, when Neptune enters Aries, Aries is action, right? Neptune's been in this dreamy state for the last, 12, 14 years. And there's definitely something about, I have now a spiritual vision that I want to take action on. So here's some key transits and aspect patterns in January to look for. And this is going back to what I said about the Kazimis, okay? January 6th, that's when Venus conjuncts the sun in Capricorn at 16 degrees. So this is about values and relationships becoming intensely focused and clarified. January 9th, Mars conjuncts the sun in Capricorn at 19 degrees. This is a highly dynamic, ambitious time where disciplined action begins and brings like fire and focus to everything. I love this Mars Cazimi in Capricorn. On the 21st, Mercury Cazimi. So Mercury conjunct the sun in Aquarius. So mental sharpness is happening, a breakthrough in thinking. And then on the 23rd, Pluto Cazimi. Pluto conjunct the sun, which I just was talking about, deep transformation of power structures, okay, of collective sort of regeneration. And don't forget about the lunar phases. January 3rd, full moon in Cancer, 13 degrees. This is a about emotional safety. This can be releasing a home environment. Some of you could be moving, letting go of things that aren't secure or don't feel secure. Or you've tried to build something secure for yourself, and maybe that's time to let that go. It was in a reading that I just did, the ancestor reading yesterday. It was in there about letting go of something that doesn't feel secure. And then the new moon in Capricorn on January 18th. This is new beginnings, disciplines, goals, and structures happening right before we get into this Aquarian visionary time. So I definitely love all these things. And this feels like a very powerful, action-oriented year or a month. Sorry, not a whole year, just this month. But now let's go sign by sign. Like I said, watch your rising sign first, then your sun, and then your moon sign, and take little notes about how this might be impacting you. I'm going to use the rising sign as a way to map the astrology chart. So that will tell me what parts of your life are being impacted, which is why I'm saying use your rising sign first. If you only know your sun sign, watch your sun sign and utilize the energy for your own self-expression, right? That's what the sun is. All right, so let's start with Capricorn and we'll go all the way around to Sagittarius. So here you go. All right, Capricorn, you are up. A lot of this energy is hitting your first and second house. Capricorn, first house, Aquarius, the second house. And what that means is this is really hitting all of the things I was just talking about are really hitting you in terms of who you are becoming, your identity. First house is who you're becoming. And fourth house also with Chiron there in Aries. There's something about you're like breaking out of a way of doing things or a way of being. Forget about doing things, a way of being. Your masculine and feminine energies may be changing. Your voice may be coming into view finally. It's been in Sagittarius for a while in the 12th house, which is like there's no voice in the 12th house. It's like screaming into the void. So you might be going through some kind of big change here and stepping into a new version of yourself. The partner that you're with or the partner that you want to be with can be changing. That can be making some kind of move in the new year, especially when Jupiter goes direct in that 7th house of Cancer. The full moon is in your 7th house. You might be letting go of a partnership that doesn't make you feel safe. Okay, that could be happening. And you definitely are changing the way you make money or the way you think you're able to make money. There's Saturn right there. So there's something about you wanting to put in play a new identity, a new voice of yours, of yourself, a new version of yourself. And that is going to change how money is made by you. Okay, how you are able to bring in money into your life. So let's do a little reading for you, Capricorn. What to pay attention to in January of 2026. Yeah, there's Pluto. Pluto in your 2nd house. It's going to be there for 20 years. It really is transforming your relationship to money. Your values around money might be radically changing. All right. Healer. I saw the full moon here, so I'm taking that because the full moon in Cancer in that 7th house. And meditate. Some of you are distinctly moving into a much more spiritual way of living and giving your voice to that. You might have gotten a lot of spiritual ideas with Mercury transiting through that 12th house. We just had, Mars, Venus, and the sun transiting through Sagittarius. This is a new philosophy that's coming into view for you and changing the way you work with power in your world, in your life. Like maybe if you haven't felt like you had a lot of power, now you're embracing power, especially financial power. That's going to be activated in January. So the Three of Cups underneath, Page of Pentacles. Let's see, Page of Pentacles, the Judgment card, the Eight of Wands, the World. Wow. Definitely coming to a chapter is coming to a close, Capricorn. There's the excitement, the Page of Wands. There's the Sagittarius energy, the new philosophy, the Star, Aquarian energy. Beautiful. Look at that. Four of Wands and the Four of Swords. I feel like you're moving into a more healing kind of relationship. Some of you could be dumping business partners or dumping relationship partners if it's not healing or nurturing for you, not you doing it for someone else. Okay, this is about you changing your identity in a big way. So Page of Pentacles is about learning something new. The Eight of Wands and the Judgment card together are about getting a lot of downloads. Some of you could be stepping into becoming a healer. All right, something along those lines. But expect big transformation in January. And here's the healing card with the Star, the Four of Wands, and the Four of Swords, another healing card here. I get the feeling that some of you are healing a relationship to yourself, what you think you're worthy of, what you think your value is. The Mercury in the 12th house of Sagittarius can really bring about and can really activate some kind of very powerful connection to the divine. All right. So I'm going to continue with this reading. If this is your reading, there's a link below for Capricorn. Otherwise, I'm just going to continue with Aquarius. So I'll see you over there. All right, Aquarius, you're up. And based on this astrology map that I'm looking at right now, this is going to be a profound spiritual time for you. Okay. I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. And this is just my little chart for you, right? This is the 12th house. You have Capricorn in the 12th house. Sun, Sun, Mars, and Venus are in the 12th house. 12th house is quite alone, okay? And 12th house is about understanding how you self-sabotage, if you do, if there's addictions at play, how you're not using the energy of Capricorn to build your life, right? And if that's true, if you're having this energy of feeling like, wow, I can't get anything going, it's because it's a spiritual block. If you're having a hard time with something right now, it's because it's a spiritual block. And Pluto's in that first house of your identity. All right. So there's definitely some deep soul transformation happening for Aquarians right now. I got Mercury in that 11th house in Sagittarius, and it's going to be moving into Capricorn. So there's definitely something here about you getting connected spiritually through meditation or through some kind of effort, work, Capricorn, right? Work that you put in to your spiritual life. To the degree you put in work on your spiritual connection, the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. And vice versa, garbage in, garbage out. Okay. So I highly recommend that you pay attention to your spiritual discipline. If you have any, or if you don't have any, this is really a time for you to do that. We've got a lot of energy in your second house too about money, but it is illusory. And because Saturn and Neptune are connected at the end of Pisces, there's definitely a delusion or illusion around money that needs to go. That's like, it needs more reality to it. You might not be aware of how much you're sort of running away from money, or how much money has separated you from other people. That's also a possibility. Okay. We've got the full moon on January 3rd is in your 6th house of your day job. So all this is connected. You definitely are going to, if you expand on focusing in on your day-to-day routines, and doing the things that make you feel safe and secure, that's going to be a good thing. More than safe and secure, that's more Taurus. And I'm talking about feeling nurtured. Maybe that's not a thing for you, but that's what's being asked of you right now, is to really pay attention to what makes you feel nurtured. And it's possible that you could be changing your daily routines or your day job, especially if you have illusions about money. That, like, there was a friend of mine who went to Florida when the hurricane, one of the hurricanes happened, and he's like, I'm gonna go down there and put on roofs and I'm gonna make $1 million. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're gonna be working hourly. He just had this real fantasy illusion about, and mostly it was because, like, I think I deserve this, or I think this is what I'm worth, and damn it, I should just get it. And there's a misstep in there. There's a misstep. And I think it's a spiritually misappropriated, interesting choice of words there, Spirit, misappropriations. It's a spiritual fix. It's not a physical fix. Nothing you do physically is likely to fix this. It has to be a spiritual fix. And with all that energy in Capricorn right now in that 12th house, you may be getting the opportunity. When Mercury moves in, this is about the stories you tell yourself and the illusions. So I feel like you're telling yourself a story that isn't real. And the way to go through that transformation is to go toward your spiritual connection, to align with who you are becoming. This is a spiritual fix, like I said. Okay, underneath is nature spirits. We've got the full moon in Cancer. We've got the jealousy card and some kind of truth that comes through this spiritual practice, I feel. Focus. There's that Mercury energy, the Mercury in Sag in the 11th house. You know, I feel like that's what, other people are very important to keeping your identity together. This is about you being alone. Who am I if I'm not in connection with these people? Who am I if I'm not running this company? Who am I if I'm not? Okay. So Pluto in your first house over the next 20 years is going to radically transform you. And it is a spiritual, soul-based transformation. All right, Aquarius. So this is about becoming the you're here to become, and maybe have not been. Not yet. Not yet. Page of Pentacles underneath. The Wheel of Fortune. Tower. This is a destined, fated event here. Truth. More truth coming through than maybe you had bargained for. Two of Pentacles. Queen of Swords. Knight of Swords. Hanged Man. The Queen of Cups. And the Ace of Pentacles. So I like that there's a couple of aces here, but there's a lot to be learned in this spiritual transformation that you're undergoing that's starting January 2026. There's a lot to learn. There is somebody, maybe an air sign, maybe a Sag. Focus. We're talking about Sag. So there's another person who is who's bringing truth. They may have told you truth already, or they may be bringing truth to you now. And this is going to set you on a new path, a more spiritually aligned path. This is not something that you're like actively choosing, but it is something that you put effort and time into. All right. And I see that this is about connecting to your heart. The way forward is through this spiritual portal so that you can connect to your heart. Mm, Venus. All right, I'm going to continue on with this reading. If this is for you, Aquarius, there's a link below if you want to continue on with me. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to Pisces next. So I'll see you there. All right, Pisces, this is for you. So, all of that stuff I was talking about in the beginning about Capricorn is falling in your 11th house. And your 11th house is about your friend groups and your social groups. So there could be some things you want to work on regarding that, regarding making more friends, different friends, connecting up with different people. And it's like you got to put in some time and energy into it because it's Capricorn, right? So putting in some effort in expanding your social circles is really going to help you. I also feel like there's a possibility of love relationship coming from a friend or from a friend circle, right? My circle of friends is widening and I'm meeting new people all the time. That's where a love relationship could come from. Okay. The other thing I want to point out to you is that you have Aquarius in the 12th house, and Aquarius in the 12th house means that the deep, and this might be right up your alley, Pisces, but like the deep spiritual transformation that you're undergoing is going to be over the next 20 years. So I would pace yourself. All right. We got a lot of energy in your first house of Pisces with Saturn and Neptune moving off into the second house of Aries. There's definitely some wound around how you make money. And that's something that might need to be addressed. Okay. Chiron is moving off to Taurus in your third house. And that's going to be happening later in 2026. But in the very beginning of 2026, you're going to have Chiron is going direct in that house. So what have you been learning about yourself and your identity as it relates to money? How, who I am. Maybe I'm a really spiritual person and that means I'm not allowed to make money or something like that. There's a wound here. So that requires your attention. And especially in January, you could really put some effort and time into this. You might, back to this Capricorn thing, where you have a lot of maybe new friends. They might need to be like all different kinds of friends. Like get out of your comfort zone in terms of who you're hanging out with. Maybe it requires you to have some non-spiritual friends. Maybe they need you. Okay. So for Pisces, please. What's going on for my Pisces? Check you out. Divine feminine energy. Underneath is water. We have Jupiter and we have a full moon in Cancer in your fifth house. The full moon's in your fifth house. So there could be some kind of like emotional exchange that happens. Yep, lucky. There's Sagittarius. And spiritual cleansing. Some of you are, it's true that some of you are going to find nurturing a person that you may not normally interact with, or someone who's outside of your traditional round of friends, and that person becomes a love partner. Jupiter in that fifth house of Cancer. Jupiter's going direct in March. So right now, this is about you becoming your own best partner. You having self-love and doing all the good things for yourself. And really, I mean, I can't stress this enough. Expand those expand those friendship groups. We're going to have the Sun and Venus, Mercury, and Mars move into Aquarius, the 12th house, later in January. And so there's going to be some kind of spiritual visioning or spiritual vision quest that maybe you're invited on. I would go if there's like an opportunity, okay, to go on some kind of, especially if it's outside of your comfort zone, a spiritual trip, or even if it's just a trip, Like you might not term it spiritual, but if you go on this trip, this is going to be a spiritual experience. All right. So underneath is the Four of Wands. I'm seeing Leo here and the World. Wow, look at this. 10 of Cups. I'm taking this. Ace of Cups. And here you are, the Queen of Cups. Page of Cups. Temperance. Sag. Are you dealing with a Sag? Could be. Seven of Cups. This person is very apologetic. Maybe for confusing you. You've got some really good things coming your way. Really good relationship things coming your way. South Node is transiting your 7th house of Virgo. And I feel like that might have to do with doing the work of the relationship. Have you done the work of your relationship? Have you healed in order to have a good relationship in your life? I feel like that's what's going on here. And you might have been dealing here more Sagittarius energy, 10 of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, you could be turning in a Sag for a Virgo. 3 of Cups, the 6 of Wands, and the Queen of Wands. So King and Queen of Wands here. And I feel like what gets you there is you're finally letting go of people who are not committing to you. People who are not serious. Virgo is serious. Virgo is, we do this step by step. You also have Mars and Venus together in that 11th house, Capricorn. I was saying about like your partner could come from a friend group. I feel like you should let go of this frivolous Sagittarius. And it's possible that this Virgo energy here is the right person. Now, this may be somebody that you meet through family and friends again. And this, if the Sagittarius, like if you're like watching tarot readings to be like, I don't know how my Sagittarius feels about me. I don't know. I'm clueless. I can't understand what they want. I don't know what they're doing. I'm confused. Nobody who really loves you wants you to be confused. Okay? If this person is making you confused and you asking them directly and they don't go, okay, let's clear this up. Here's how I feel. Here's what I want. If you're, number one, if you're afraid to ask that question, you might already know the answer. But number two, if this person is on purpose confusing you, they're not going to clear it up. That's not going to be their reaction. They're going to be like, why are you such a drama queen? Why are you trying to trap me? Bad answers. Okay? What is going on with the Sagittarius? Empress, Divine Feminine Energy, the Hierophant, the 5 of Wands, and the 4 of Pentacles. This person is not a commitment person. They don't want commitment in their life. Where goes Charlie? We got Mercury in Sagittarius right now in your 10th house. And 10th house is the house of career. So it's also a house of reputation. Mercury in Sagittarius is basically you standing up for yourself and saying how you feel, like publicly to their face, not behind closed doors, not around the back, not around. You have somebody really great coming in. I feel like there's somebody that's wasting your time. Okay? I'm feeling like there's someone wasting your time. Here's that friend group that really wants you to be happy. Okay? They really want you to be happy. And here's you becoming the Queen of Wands. This Sagittarius person is not going to commit. What about this Virgo? Is this somebody that's a love partner or long-term? Emperor, 2 of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, and the Fool. This person is energetically waiting for you. So they might not even know you exist yet. But this person has been waiting for someone like you who's very spiritual and very aligned with their inner child, like really doing a good job. but really doesn't, you may be having some kind of, this is primarily a love reading, but there is definitely something going on in your career sector with Sagittarius, with Mercury, and then that wound with Chiron and Aries. Now, I want to say to you that in February, we are going to have Neptune and Saturn moving out of your first house into the second house. So your career could really take off. And this could be coming also from a friend group, right? You could get this opportunity through a friend group. So don't blow off those invites. Okay. I'm going to keep going to see where this takes you. I want to look at this person who's coming in. I'm going to get some timing as well. All right, Pisces, if you want to continue on, there's a link below for your extended. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to Aries and I'll see you over there. Okay, Aries, what's going on for you? So all of that Capricorn energy, obviously hitting your 10th house of career. It's a really good time to hit the ground running. Mars and Venus both being activated, and then Mercury moving in. So we're having such a large, sort of group of energies in your 10th house of career. It really is time to make the move. Okay. If you've been holding back, no. If you haven't been holding back, then it can be about like a balance, a work-life balance issue, because we've got Jupiter in retrograde in your fourth house of home, the moon, the full moon in Cancer in the fourth house, with Jupiter there in retrograde. Like I was just saying, there's definitely something about like balancing this out, this home and work kind of situation. We've got Chiron in your sign. It's going direct the second day of the month. And then it's going to move into Taurus in your second house of how you make money. So there's a bit of a wound coming up in terms of that. And I just want you to pay attention to it. But we've had Uranus transiting in Taurus for a long time. So Uranus is still in that second house. But when Chiron goes in there, it really is asking ourselves, like, what is my worth and value? And if you're putting a lot of time and energy, time and treasure into your career, and you're ignoring your home, that might show up as the wound. Okay. We also have Pluto and Aquarius in your 11th house of your friends and social circles. That could be making some big changes. It's a long, slow transit though. Okay. It's there for 20 years. So over the course of the next 20 years, your life is going to completely change in terms of your friends and your social circles. But whose doesn't over 20 years? Okay. Still just saying. And there's quite a lot of energy in that 12th house as well. Saturn and Neptune has been there Saturn's been there for 2.5 years. Neptune's been there since 2011. So you can expect that when those move into your first house, 0 degrees Aries, going to reinvent yourself spiritually. Whatever's been going on is shaping you. Whatever's been going on for the last 14 years is really shaping your identity. It's not doing that for everybody. Okay. It's not doing that for everybody. All right. So let's see where we're going here. New moon. There's a new moon in Capricorn later in the month, the 18th, I think, right before we get into Aquarius season. Grounded, very Capricornian energy. The spiritual cleansing card, and here's the full moon. So full moon in Cancer, that's taking place in your 4th house. That's happening January 3rd. So right as we get into the new year. And, you could be letting go of anybody in your life who's not nurturing you. You're not going to let people into your life who are not nurturing, or who you are not nurturing yourself. There could be something, I'm just getting a little bit of something here about like being a guru or a guide for other people in your career. If you're in that stage of your career where you're starting to teach other people what you know, or being kind of a senior statesman of sorts, this is really going to show up in 2026 for you. In a big way. And, it could have something to do with it's more of a like a spiritual calling that you want to share with other people. I was going to say technology can be part of it, but I don't want to overstate that. It's kind of like, well, technology is everywhere, but there could be some part of it that is whatever you're teaching to other people, or how you're being a mentor. That's the word, mentor. How you're mentoring other people. That's going to be really, really important as we move forward to you. Those people, you must find people that you can nurture and people who nurture you back. It can't be a one-way street. It can't be out of balance. Okay? It can't be out of balance. So Aries, 8 of Cups on the bottom. I like this. You're going toward the sun. That's beautiful energy. Tower. What? 5 of Swords. 6 of Cups. I thought these people were good people. This is about not giving your all to someone who is actually manipulating you. I feel like if you're teaching somebody right now, you're doing a good job, but I feel like they're taking advantage of your kind and giving nature. Yeah, I do. 6 of Swords. 7 of Cups. You're not seeing this. 10 of Cups. Okay, I like this. We're going in a good direction here. Queen of Cups. 7 of Swords. There's the lying liars and the lies they tell. 5 of Swords. 7 of Cups. 7 of Swords. Knight of Pentacles. So I feel like this is, you might feel like you're going to, well, I feel like you're going to get burned. Okay? Or someone's going to try to burn you. That you're going outside of what you have to do to help them. I feel like they're going to burn you. I feel like they're going to not be grateful. I feel like this person isn't going to, this might hurt a little bit, but it kind of cements you as like a mensch, as a good human. It kind of shows other people what a good human being you are. However you handle this, I feel like you handle this very well. Okay, so this person may just like take advantage of your knowledge, of your friend groups, of your information, of your awareness, of your connections. Okay, the Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto is going to be the Sun, Venus, and Mars, and Mercury are all going to move into Aquarius later in the month. Like I said at the beginning of the video. And that's going to be the aha moment. Okay? So just be really aware. They're exploiting something that you feel about yourself. There's some kind of insecurity that you have. They're exploiting that. And so this is like, you're dead to me, right? Like, I banish you to the hinterlands. Other people see that you have done a good deed, though. Okay? The Queen of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, 2 of Swords, 9 of Wands, Queen of Wands, and the 4 of Swords. So this is, if this is a pattern for you, this is the last time. This is the last time you're going to do this to yourself. I feel like you're putting yourself in a little bit of harm's way here by being so open or magnanimous to somebody. All right. So just be very, very careful about that. All right. So let's continue on. I'm going to go deeper into this reading. Let's see how this comes out. I want to talk about drama coming your way. Link is below, Aries, if you want to continue on. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to Taurus. So I'll see you over there. All right, Taurus, welcome in. This is for you. This is your January reading. If you watched, I would highly recommend that you watch the beginning of this video. I take you through the astrology of January. And now what I'm going to say to you is how it might impact you. So what I'm really noticing about your chart, Taurus, is there's the Capricorn energy is falling in the 9th house, which is about learning. It's about higher wisdom. It can be about additional degrees, It can be about philosophy. It can be about astrology. It can be about learning new stuff. Okay. And for you, this is going to be important because Pluto in your 10th house of Aquarius is getting lit up by the sun. And what that means is this is really time to take your career passions, or if you've never had a career, it's time to start one. Okay. If you've had different, sort of like a hopscotch, hopscotch, a, sort of a checkerboard of different kinds of career or different kinds of jobs. Job's not the same as career. Career is like what you're known for. It's time to connect the dots. It's time to connect the dots. What have you been drawn to? What's been important to you in terms of what you want to put your life energy into? It may have been family for a long time, and now that's shifting. You might feel called to do something more outside the home. The 10th house is about outside the home. We have Saturn and Neptune later this in February moving into your 12th house of unseen enemies, but also like things that we do that stop ourselves from advancing in life. And that's why it's called unseen enemies. What was that? Unseen enemies. And it's time for you to really start harnessing your true power. I don't think you know what your true power is quite yet, but I think you will. I think you will. The full moon that's happening on the 3rd of January is happening in your 3rd house of communication, Cancer. Jupiter is there also. Jupiter is going to go direct in March. And so there's definitely some kind of stepping out in a local way. Maybe your career is going to be very localized, but it doesn't have to be. It's like something that, I don't know, let's just, I'm going to make something up, like a bakery. Okay. A bakery that's very localized. Like we have a really good one here in Kennebunk, Boulangerie. Shout out to her. She's a neighbor, Michelle. And it's a wonderful, wonderful place. And with this energy up in the 9th and 10th houses, I feel like you could do something, you could take something national or international, you could innovate it, because Aquarius is your 10th house and that is career. But Aquarius means it can't be like we've always done. So a bakery or something like that is inherently like a local thing, but you're innovating what you're doing into something that really brings you a lot of power or activates your power in some way. It could activate your financial power. Uranus will move into your 2nd house of Gemini later in 2026. And that can be about like, all of a sudden you're kind of like writing books, right? Gemini is about writing and communicating. That 3rd house being activated with Jupiter until the middle of 2026 is also the house of communication. So there's something here that you have in you that needs to get out. And you might think it's, like when I think about before I started this channel, tarot and astrology to me were like kind of a local thing. Like you would have like a little office and people would come and you would do readings for them. And before I kind of understood about YouTube and everything like that, I didn't realize how much of an innovation YouTube would be for that particular discipline. And the 9th house is actually astrology, and it can be about that. It can be about either, learning from your astrology, which you're doing right now, if you're interested in these kind of readings, and it's going to help you understand your own wounds, the things that hold you back. Okay, because there's Chiron transiting the 12th house. 12th house is the coping mechanisms we do, or the addictions we have that keep us from actively living our purpose. All right, so it's time to pay. Oh, look at this. Time to pay attention to that. New life. I'm going to take this jealousy card because I've been seeing it. if you have jealousy of someone, no shame in that game. Okay. Just saying, if you have jealousy for someone, it's telling you is, ooh, I want that. So don't be ashamed of that. Fire. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Ooh, check you out, affluence. Wow. That is Taurus soulmate. Oh my goodness. So I'm seeing some kind of passionate soulmate energy here too. And let's see. So Scorpio is your 7th house of marriage. Virgo is your 5th house of early romances. 9th house can be second spouse. Right now we have the Sun, Mars, and Venus in the 9th house, in your 9th house of second spouse. So there can be, that can be activating energy, and Mercury's coming in pretty soon, early in January. So that can be activating this second spouse energy. Scorpio as first spouse. So that's secret. Or that's about intimacy, deep intimacy that you might have learned from a first spouse. Now, second spouse doesn't have to be like, oh God, I got to get divorced and everything. No, it can be like a best friend. It can be a business partner. But there's definitely something here about a strong soulmate. So let's see what's going on here for Taurus in terms of the reading. All right, I'm gonna move my astrology notes out of the way here. All right, 5 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords, King of Swords. Yeah, there's 2 people here. King of Wands, the 2 of Wands, and second spouse. There's definitely somebody here who's like maybe like a work wife or a work husband. Somebody's going to really encourage this new unfolding. Doesn't have to be romantic in nature. King of Swords is Libra. King of Wands is Aries. We've got Cancer here. Okay. 5 of Wands, King of Pentacles. Wow, lots of kings. There's Virgo energy in the Hermit. Capricorn. Virgo, lots of Virgo here. The World. Wow. 10 of Swords. End of a cycle. 8 of Pentacles, 2 of Cups. Yeah, this is a new partner. Page Swords. So I feel like there's a lot of conflict in your current situation. And it's time for that to be over. Right? There might be conflict. I'll just say, like, if you're whatever you're doing now with your days, there's conflict here, and it's basically telling you that this is like no longer for you. And it doesn't mean that, oh, I got to get a divorce. It doesn't really mean that. It just means like it's time to sit up and take notice. When something is really draining your energy on a daily basis, it's time to learn from that. 9th house. It's time to learn from that. I feel like some of you are really changing what you're doing with your days, and there's a new partner coming in to help you with that. 8 of Pentacles, Page of Swords. So this is information or message coming in. A big decision is in front of you. Big decision, Taurus. Ah, love it. Queen of Swords, 9 of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune. Wow. 9 of Wands. What? This is the key to this entire reading and the astrology for January. What do you want? All right, we're going to keep going with this reading, Taurus. If this is for you, there's a link below. I'll see you over there. Otherwise, I'll just keep on going to Gemini. So see you there too. All right, Gemini, your turn now. Seriously, this is a time of major transformation for Geminis. I'm seeing the Capricorn energy in your 8th house of death and transformation. The Sun, Mars, Venus, and then pretty soon Mercury. Mercury's leaving your 7th house of Sag. So there could be some kind of conversation that you've been having back and forth with a spouse or whatever that's leading you to change and move, take some action in your own life, maybe integrating your masculine and feminine and doing something that really brings you forward. This is a house of shared resources too. So there could be something that you're creating, maybe with a spouse or with a partner, or now finally independently on your own, where something was shared resources. Whatever you're doing, the ninth house with Aquarius and Pluto there, about to get the sun coming in, about to get all these planets coming in. Ninth house is about learning something new. And there can be a sense of that's what's going to give you your power back. You've got to learn something. And it's coming through this transformative energy. It's how you're going to take your power back. This is going to be a long-term situation, but the sun is going to light up Pluto at the end of January in that ninth house. And so you may find that whatever power struggles you're dealing with, maybe they've been behind the scenes, because Capricorn in the eighth house is about stuff that goes on behind closed doors. Could be personal, like dealing with your own shadow, but it can also be with another person that you're struggling with, maybe in-laws, maybe with a spouse or an ex or something like that. Whatever it is, you're needing to learn how to take your power back and how not to give away your power so much. I feel like you're seeing that in this struggle. So January is really going to highlight this transformation that you're making. This is going to require effort on your part. This is not something that you're just going to naturally know how to do. Something you're going to need to learn. And this year is going to be a year of you really working on this, because I do see, the North Node is going to move into that ninth house in the summertime in Aquarius. We have Uranus moving into your first house of Gemini. So there's definitely like this new story that you're going to tell, but it's not that the story comes first. It's the stuff that's going on inside you that's forcing you to take some kind of action on your own behalf, that gives you your power back, and you're going to tell the story of that. Okay? That's the story that's going to change for you, is how you got your groove back or how you got your power back. And that's something that other people may need to learn from you. Okay? So let's see what's going on here. Magic. Affluence, super duper nice. Focus and jealousy. What? All right, that came out in the Taurus reading too. So what am I getting this jealousy about? Jealousy is just the energy of, oh, that's what I want. So you could have somebody, this shared resources thing, there could be somebody that has a lot more resources than you do. And so that's engendering some jealousy from you behind the scenes. Okay. And it's really time to recognize the work that they put into what they're doing. And you've got to put in the work too. Like it's this other person may be making it look easy, but I promise you it's not. It's something that they put time and effort into. And, the jealousy is that this is up and running and it's time for you to get something up and running. We've had Saturn and Neptune transiting your 10th house of Pisces for a few years now. Saturn's been in there in Pisces for 2.5 years, and Neptune's been there since 2011, I believe. And so there's a sense of like, there's some illusions that you've had about what it takes to run a business or what it takes to have a career. And there's a wound around, do I think I can do it? Something like that. Your second house, Cancer is in your second house, and we have this full moon coming up on the 3rd. And we also have Jupiter there. And Jupiter's been in retrograde since July. So Jupiter's going to go direct in March. So I feel like there's something here about nurturing an idea and recognizing the Capricorn energy here being activated. The Capricorn energy says, you got to put your shoulder into this. If you want something, to activate financial wealth or abundance or affluence in your life, you're going to have to put time and energy to it. Okay. And this might be about shared resources. If you like work for a company and the owner is making a ton of money or something like that, like something that you do, that you put effort and time into, is going to expand your resources, and this will give you more power in your life. Okay. So the Strength card, Two of Swords, Queen of Cups, Two of Wands. Oh my goodness. The Five of Pentacles and this Two of Cups. I keep seeing the Ace of Wands as I was shuffling, so I'll take that. There's definitely a partner here, like a could be a Sag, Leo. There's something here about leaning into the partner for resources, and you've got to stand on your own 2 feet. But it doesn't mean that the partner goes away or that there isn't a new partner or something like that. It just means that there's a shame-based thing in you. There's a shame-based thing in you that's actively spinning up this jealousy. This is a good message. This is a message for you, like, hey, you can do this, but there's something about you're going to have to put effort into it. It's not going to be something that drops out of the sky. Okay. Because Capricorn energy is about putting effort. Okay. And Mars is there. So Mars is that drive. I just get the feeling that there's something about what you want, you feel like you should have, and not have to work or not have to do this, because the Leo energy is here. Like, it should just be mine. It should just be mine. But that's not really what's happening. And for you to understand this is sort of like, can I put energy towards something that makes me feel nurtured? And it's not just about the money you get from doing that. It's about the effort you're putting in that makes you feel like part of a team or nurtured or something like that. And money will come from that. Okay. 8 of Cups, High Priestess, full moon right there. 9 of Pentacles. Excellent. The 8 of Wands, 4 of Swords, 8 of Swords. Oh, wow. Why are you doing that? I'll talk to you about it in a minute. There's Sagittarius energy, again, that I was talking about. Page of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. So there's definitely somebody here who's made it, or who's making, like, who's doing it, who's doing what you want to do. 4 of Swords and 8 of Swords. There's some kind of mindset that says you can't do it, which is a total lie you're telling yourself. Like, you can't do it on your own. I feel like somebody told you that, like, you need a partner. And ironically enough, like, you might have a partner, but there's something that you need to do also. Wow, I can't quite get this. I can't quite grab it. So let me clarify here. 4 of Swords and 8 of Swords. Like, what's this mindset here? Death, that's got to be over with, right? Magician, Hanged Man, wow. And the Knight of Swords. So there's some kind of magical thinking here. Magical thinking, like, you look at somebody else around you, somebody that you're jealous of or whatever it is, and you're like, they make it look easy, or why is it so easy for them? I feel like if I did that, I'd fall on my face, so I'm not going to try. I feel like you're walking away from that attitude, which is great. The High Priestess, the 8 of Cups, the 8 of Wands, the 9 of Pentacles. You're really understanding how valuable you are and how amazing you are. You've got to get out of this mindset. This mindset that says, I can't. I want what they have. But there's also something that's blocking you in terms of taking action, and it's the mindset that if I put time and effort into something, I don't know for sure that it's going to work. And so I will have wasted that time, and so I'm just not going to do it. Something like that. And I feel like that's your enemy right there. Okay. We've got, let's see, you've got Taurus in the 12th house, And Taurus is about making myself safe and secure. It's like your enemy. If you're feeling safe and secure, like your comfort zone will be your coffin. Ugh. And oh my gosh, look. So this is about the way you're thinking about what you want to do. It's like, get excited for doing it. Stop thinking about the outcome only, the money or the fame or whatever it is. Stop thinking about the result of what you're doing and enjoy what you're doing. All right, so that's something to pay attention to, is what I want to do. The Seven of Swords, the Sun, the Six of Wands, and the Six of Pentacles. This is another mindset thing. It's like you want other people to be jealous of you. You love it when what is going on here, Gemini? Love it when other people are jealous of you, or something like that. Like that. Okay, there's definitely a feeling of, I want other people to see. Let's take this high vibe, right? I want other people to see me as successful. I want to really have, the money to be able to do what I want to do and make it look easy. And I want all of that. But there's some kind of lie you're telling yourself that I can't do it. And I'm really keying into this Five of Pentacles. Who's this partner? Because I feel like you had a partner, or you have a partner who's like tearing down your self-worth, or has torn down your self-worth. There's Two of Cups and the Ace of Wands. This is new. Justice, Libra energy, the Moon, the Nine of Wands, and the King of Swords. Okay, so there's a masculine energy that's been tearing down your self-worth. The full moon in Cancer that is happening on the 3rd of January is something for you to release any messages, anything that's thought forms in your mind that have undermined your self-confidence, that they must be banished. Use that full moon in Cancer to help you do that. So let's go deeper a little bit into this reading. Link is below if you want to continue on. If this is your reading, let's talk more about that, because I can see what might be holding you back. Link is below if you want to continue on. Otherwise, I'm just going to move on to Cancer. See you there. All right, Cancerians, let's see what's going on for you. I was just shuffling a little bit before I turned on the camera, and I see the full moon card coming in. Here's the new moon card. Full moon, we got a full moon happening on January 3rd, and that is in your first house of Cancer. Okay, so there's definitely something here about letting go of anything that has not made you feel nurtured, or anything in your identity that's not nurturing to you, that doesn't feel safe to you. Letting go of things that feel that make you feel destabilized. Okay. Got a lot of energy in your 7th house. Sun, Venus, and Mars, and Mercury very soon in the 7th house of Capricorn. So there's a lot of work related to a relationship, a lot of maybe heavy lifting that is needed in order to make that work. Pretty soon, all of those planets are going to be moving into your 8th house of transformation. Pluto is already there. So there's something here about taking back your power. You have Aries in the 10th house of career, and that for sure is about you having bold leadership, but there's Chiron there. So that's making me feel like there's some kind of wound around you feeling like you're a leader, that you've got to have a partner all the time, or that you can't, you need to have this partner in order to make your life work, or something like that. But really your career could really take shape after February 20th, when Saturn and Neptune advance into Aries. Well, Neptune's going into Aries this month in January at the end. Saturn's following, and they're hitting right at 0 degrees on February 20th together. And that is going to be about any kind of spiritual desire you've had. Aries is a lot about desire, right? So Neptune in Aries, it can be about the desire for power or the desire for leadership. If you've had that, if you've had a spouse who's been kind of the domineering, kind of a domineering or controlling even person, this is about you breaking free of that. Okay, so that could be happening this month. Let's see what the tarot reading shows. Courage, Camille. Yep, karmic path. Nature spirits and grounded. Stay nice and grounded, okay? You can use that Capricorn energy in the 7th house of other to help ground you. Maybe the partner, if you've grounded the partner, maybe the partner needs to ground you, okay? Because you're stepping into some real dynamic energy and taking your power back. All right, so I'm just going to say that if you have a partner who's using all of the joint resources for themselves or for their hobbies or whatever, it's time to take that back. That may not be for all of you. But you're definitely having some kind of career premiere happening in 2026. So this could be about like what comes naturally to you. There's Saturn right there. But it's going to take courage, right? It's going to take courage. 6 of Pentacles underneath, the 10 of Cups, the 3 of Swords, and the 8 of Pentacles. So it does feel like you've had some, I don't know, like I get success and then it gets yanked away from me. And the partner has been anchoring that. This could be about a career path that has been very up and down in your life. The Star, 8 of Swords, Wheel of Fortune. Wow. Hermit energy. There's Virgo, Aquarius, Sagittarius, Pisces. 8 of Wands, Knight of Cups, new partner. Yep, Ace of Cups, 4 of Wands. Wow, new partner indeed. Page of Swords. Some of you are done with a partnership that's been up and down. Maybe you've had to put in a lot of time and effort to get out of it. Okay. Big transformation coming this year. That will be completed. If you're getting out of a partnership, that will be completed this year. You're getting your power back. And you know, 8th house is the house of death and transformation. So this could be completely transforming your life. You might be doing a lot of healing work now. If that has already happened and you still have like one milestone left to go or one thing left to do to get fully unhooked from a person, the full moon in Cancer may be that thing that says, you know, I've been holding on to this because I've been the nurturer, or I feel that this is my duty. Capricorn is very duty oriented. And with all of that energy, with the Cazimi, that means that when the sun comes into conjunction with the planet, so we've got a Mars Cazimi, we got a Venus Cazimi, and then we've got a Pluto Cazimi. And that's happening later this month after the sun moves into Aquarius. This is Aquarian energy. There's something that's going to get blown apart for you that has been draining your power. Something that you may not have have connected the dots on. And you're like, oh, wait a second. This person is actually stepping on my cape. This person is not helping me. Or this situation, doesn't even have to be a person, but it can be a situation that you feel duty bound to stay in. I feel like is over. Okay. Definitely Wheel of Fortune coming in, 8 of Wands, very fast movement forward after that. Okay. Something that was really, really good. And now it's really, really awful. It's not beneficial anymore. So it's time to go. All right, let's continue on with this reading, Cancer. If this is your reading, there's a link below. I'll continue on with this. Otherwise, I'm going to move off to Leo. See you over there. Hey, Leo, welcome in. Hello, darlings. How are you? This is your reading. I'm going to talk with you a little bit about the astrology and how the astrology of January 2026 may impact you. And then I'll move off into my tarot reading to see about that. First, what I want to say to you is there should be a lot of focus on your day job in January. We've got the sun, we've got Venus and Mars, both in your sixth house of Capricorn, and Mercury bringing it up fast, right? In the beginning of the month, Mercury is going to come in too. So the sixth house is about our daily routines and what keep us healthy and what keep us thriving. And with Sun, Mars, and Venus, and this energy, this strong communication energy of masculine and feminine, both my creative side and my logical side, like working together, got to focus a lot of your time and energy on your day job right now. By the end of the month, those planets will be moving into the seventh house of Aquarius. So the seventh house is about marriage, it's about partnerships, it's about the people that we have intimate connections with. And with all that energy moving in and Pluto being there, the sun is going to interact with Pluto. There's definitely some kind of, I don't know if it's a love partner, but it's definitely some kind of partnership that's being activated in your life. All right. So it's really important to pay attention to that. The other thing I want you to pay attention to is your 12th house is very activated. It's Cancerian energy. You got a full moon in that 12th house, and that's a house of spirituality. It's a house of the subconscious. It's a house of self-undoing and karma, psychic experiences. So with the moon there, the full moon is shining a light on these things for you, which in the 12th house, these things could be like, it's not, not my circus, not my monkeys. It's not part of my life. I don't pay attention. I'm just really focused on my day job, tangible things I can see, touch, taste, sense in those ways. But there's other things that are trying to come through to you that you might be resistant to. Okay. The 12th house is also the house of our unseen enemies. And this can be our own thought process. This can be our own way of that we're not recognizing that our way of doing things is blocking us. It's like, I don't know what I don't know. Okay. So just pay attention. Just pay attention to that. Especially that sixth house stuff. So I'm just seeing the affluence card here, which is awesome. And the past life stuff, that's 12th house, past life. There could have been a lot of, because we got Jupiter there right now. There's something about being more aware of your past lives. It will activate affluence for you. Don't push back on the spiritual. You're watching this, so you're not doing that. But that's the advice for Leo is like, don't just focus on what you can touch, taste, even though you've got a lot of energy in that sixth house, and focusing on that sixth house is a really good thing, an important thing. But don't forget about the intangibles. That's going to help you. Okay. That's going to help you. So don't just ignore the spiritual part of life. Shift. Veiled. Oh yeah. And water. You've got in the 8th house of Pisces for you, you got the North Node shifting there. We've also got Saturn and Neptune moving out of that 8th house. So there's some kind of illusion. Again, this is like going on behind the scenes. It's stuff that you're not wanting to tap into because it's not of the 5 senses. So it's kind of like you're not doing it. What's going on here, Leo? You're not doing it. You're not embracing it. Like you don't know where these feelings or these experiences are coming from. I'm having like a difficult experience with my spouse, and like, why is this happening? But really resisting the spiritual side of things. And that's got to stop, right? The full moon in Cancer says, I'm going to shine light on some things that are going on behind the scenes for you that are in the spiritual realm or in the unseen realm. And how you handle that is going to be really important. especially for you taking back your power. It's like it doesn't logically compute what I'm saying. It emotionally computes, and it psychically connects to this other influence. But because you can't control it, or because you can't see it, let's see. Queen of Swords, Seven of Pentacles. Wow. 10 of Pentacles. I love this. Empress and the Knight of Swords. We got the Knight of Cups. We got somebody coming up behind you. Somebody's coming in here that is going to be very nurturing, but you're not seeing it. It's like, if it's not in front of me, it doesn't exist. I'm focused on my money. I'm focused on my day job. And that energy of Mars and Venus and the sun in that 6th house is definitely activating that. And Mercury, right? Justice. There's Libra energy, 4 of Wands, Ace of Pentacles. Could be buying a new house, or something about the house is justice. There's some past life karma being balanced out here. 5 of Swords, 9 of Swords, Page of Wands. Wow. 4 of Pentacles, the Tower, and the 10 of Wands. This is too much. Something that's going on behind the scenes is going to be too much burden. There's too much burden here. Okay. You're getting a new opportunity. It's almost like, hey, I own a house and there's that house across the street that's going up for sale. I want to buy that too. It's too much burden. Okay. It's too much burden. And so there's going to be like someone's trying to manipulate you into doing something that's too much burden for you. And I see you getting free of it because there's going to be a Tower. Okay. There's going to be a Tower. And the 10 of Wands, the 4 of Pentacles, like you've been trying to hold on to something, but you can't do this new thing and try to hold on to the old thing. King of Cups, 8 of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, and the 2 of Cups. I mean, obviously you can't hold on to a relationship and start another relationship. This is why things are getting blown up, because there's something new trying to come in that you have to let go of in order for this new thing to take place, right? Because this is just potential right now. It's just potential. And so this is like past life karma working its way through your life here. What is the 5 of Swords? Because I think you might be clear about what's right in front of you, but you're not seeing the big picture here. 5 of Swords. Okay. Page of Pentacles. This is what you need to learn. You've got Aries in that 9th house of learning. Chiron is there. This is the wound. This is the past life wound. What does Divine Masculine have to do with this? 3 of Wands, 3 of Cups, and the 8 of Swords. Excuse me. So there's a sense of like learning about what makes a relationship good, what makes a partnership good. I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that you're not paying attention to. That's why we get Towers, because we're not paying attention to the things that make us feel not nurtured. And you have to sit in some uncomfortable stuff so you don't have this Tower. All right. So let's talk about that. I'm going to continue on with this reading. If this is for you, Leo, there's a link below. I will see you over there. All right, Virgo, let's get into it. I'm going to say to you right now that the thing that has jumped out at me, there's a lot of things in this chart that jump out at me, but the first one that jumps out at me is we've got a lot of energy in Capricorn right now. It is Capricorn season. And since you are identifying as an earth sign, rising, sun, moon, whatever, Capricorn's also an earth sign. So there's a nice energy here. Okay. There's a nice, it's a trine. So there's an understanding, like, uh, so much energy, so much Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars being in your fifth house. This is like a renewal. And this can be like a rebirth of you in some way, or a rebirth of a relationship. Maybe a twin flame relationship can come back around. You're going to have to put some effort into it, though. I don't know if you're masculine or feminine, but if there is a twin flame or there's a soulmate that you're wanting to start a relationship with in January, you're going to have to be the one who reaches out. Okay. The opposite sign of that, we have a full moon in Cancer. That's in your 11th house. And then Jupiter's also there in Cancer in the 11th house. So there's something about, it's possible that the current situation, the current friend groups you have, you might be reconsidering them, or they may be kind of draining away from your life, leaving your life if they're not nurturing to you. I also see the other thing that really jumped out at me is so much energy in your 7th house of marriage, Pisces. And we've had the North Node transiting there for over a year. We have Saturn and Neptune. Neptune's been there for 14 years. And so there's been a lot of illusion around some kind of intimate partnership, illusion, delusion, but also like, Neptune loves to be in Pisces. So there's something about like compassion and empathy and sweetness and joy, but it can, if it's low vibe, it turns into disillusionment. Like, oh my God. And Saturn being there for the last 2.5 years could really cement that and saying, you know what, this is completely not what I want. So Saturn and Neptune moving into the 8th house of Aries of death and transformation. I got Pluto right here. That says to me, there's Chiron in there. That 8th house of Aries says, I'm going to do what I want to do. Okay. Pluto, as I just shuffled through, Pluto is in your 6th house of your day job. It doesn't have to be about a day job. It can be about what makes me feel grounded and powerful. And what makes me, I'm innovating that, right? I'm making some big transformative changes in my life because the routines and the day to day isn't working for me anymore. Okay. It's just not. It can be about your career. And I think in large part, it's going to be, it may not show up right now as career, it could show up right now as relationship, but career, we've got Uranus moving into Gemini in the middle of 2026. And that's like a sudden spark of innovation in your career path. So look for some great things this summer. This might have been a slog, this last bit of time with Pisces there in that 7th house with those planets there. And the nodes moving back into Aquarius and Leo, that's happening. 6th house, 12th house, that's happening over the summer as well. So big changes afoot. Okay, big changes afoot. So let's see what's going on here. I didn't even mention that at the end of the month, when we move into Aquarius season, we're going to have, right now we have the Sun and Mars and Venus and Mercury right after the first of the year in Capricorn, 5th house of self-expression. All of those energies are moving into the 6th house. So you might take a hobby into it being a job. Like you might turn a hobby into a job, or you might, have had some kind of inspiration that changes how you do your work in your day-to-day life. That day-to-day life is changing big time. And Pluto's there for 20 years in your 6th house. So like pace yourself. But seriously, like there's some things you could even have some kind of health issue that you are like, I got to change what I'm doing. Okay. So underneath is growth, gratitude, grounded. I'm getting a GR and karmic path. Growth, gratitude, grounded. And this is a karmic path issue. So in order to move forward, there's like 6th house is very humble energy. In order to be, I just feel like you're not feeling nurtured by the people around you. And in order to step into the kind of life you want, you're going to have to, there's a little bit of humbleness here that says, what am I grateful for right now? What do I have gratitude for? And this is Saturn. So stay grounded. This karmic path, all right, is making a big presence known with Saturn and Neptune in that sign of Pisces, also with the North Node transiting there too. So whatever you got in Pisces, if you got a lot of stuff in that 7th house, or if you're, I just feel like some of you are really going to be transforming relationships and career. And 2026 is the bridge year or the pivot year for that. 7 of Cups, the Emperor, the 4 of Wands. Yep, moving on. 6 of Swords, Knight of Swords, 5 of Cups. Some of you are like the king of their castle. Some of you are like, don't know where you want to go, but you know, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Okay. There's something about this place where you are that you need to move on from. You might actually be physically moving. Yep, that's right. Physically moving. Ace of Swords, 2 of Swords, secret, moving somewhere secretly. Lovers, toward a Gemini or an Aries. Aries is 8th house, secret. Somebody's secret. 3 of Swords, Tower. Holy smokes. Queen of Wands. This is going to be a sudden, this person, there's a Leo energy. Leo, Aries. Okay, Aries, Leo, Sag, Gemini. Hanged Man, Page of Cups, the World. That's another moving card, like physically moving. I feel like you might have broken someone's heart and you're coming back for them. Okay. Or your heart might have gotten broken and this person is coming back around for you, something like that. But I do feel like you're moving. 8th house Aries is like, I want to go in this direction. It's stuff that happens behind the scenes. You're like healing some kind of karmic path issue right now. You're healing some kind of karmic path issue. What's this Tower? Nine of Wands, the Moon, 9 of Pentacles, and the Magician. So the full moon in Cancer, I feel like you've had a lot of responsibilities on your plate and those are gone. I also feel like the full moon in Cancer may be the time when you reach out to this person, this 9 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, or this person reaches out to you. There's some kind of conversation that happens here. More Gemini, right? Gemini is the communicator. And we don't have the Page of Swords, but we do have the Knight of Swords. So there's something happening very quickly. Okay, this 2 of Swords, what's that about? You haven't wanted to do this. I feel like you haven't known what you've wanted. 9 of Cups, 3 of Cups, the Fool. Oh, wow, this is great energy. Knight of Cups. So I feel like you haven't known what you've wanted. And because part of it is that you're going to have to let go of a karmic path that you've been on. And it's going to shift you in some big ways. That 8th house, house of death, transformation, things that go on behind the scenes, spirituality. You got fire energy in the psychic houses here. Sag, Aries, Leo, 4th house, 8th house, 12th house. You got fire energy here. So this could be a fire sign that you're going toward. Somebody with psychic abilities, or you are opening up to your psychic abilities. That's what's changing for you day to day. All right, Virgo, let's go deeper into this reading. Link is below if you want to continue on. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep moving. Going to go on to Libra. So either way, see you over there. It's Libra time. How are you? Hello, my darlings. I hope you're doing great. Let's see what's going on for Libra. So I want to share with you how those energies I talked about in the beginning of the video may be impacting you. And the lion's share of this energy right now, the sun, Mars, and Venus are in your 4th house. And that is a house ruled by Capricorn for you. It's the opposite of Cancer up in your 10th house. We'll get to that in a second. Mercury is going to move in there. So there's a lot of energy around your house and home, what makes you feel safe and secure, or what are your goals in terms of your home? Is there something that you're doing that is you need to put some effort and time into around your house, or maybe you're buying a house or selling a house or renovating a house or something like that. There's gonna be a lot of really good energy behind that this month. We have a new moon. Nope. We have a full moon, full moon in Cancer in your opposite house of in Cancer. 10th house is opposite the 4th house. Blah, 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 blah. And that 10th house is your career. All right, your career path. So it's almost like what makes you feel nurtured is the thing that you're purging things that don't make you feel nurtured, that make you feel drained. All right. I just see the full moon right here. Okay. You're purging things that make you feel not nurtured. Okay. Jupiter's in that house right now and it's in retrograde. So there's something about internal expansion as it relates to the career path that you have, right? That 10th house being activated. And it does have something to do with your foundation in the 4th house, in your house and home. Like some of you work from home. Maybe some of you need an office. Okay. Maybe some of you need to recreate an office in your home or rework things for yourself. There's going to be some really great energy around that for you in the early part of January. Then when the full moon hits on January 3rd, there's something about like, okay, I'm letting go of anything that doesn't bring me joy, okay, in my career. And that's being activated. Now, at the end of the month, we have a new moon in Capricorn, which is that 4th house. Right before we go into Aquarius season, we've got the sun obviously going to Aquarius. Then we have the Mars and Venus moving into Aquarius, and Mercury goes first actually because it's moving faster into Aquarius in that 5th house. And that's where Pluto is. Pluto's transiting that 5th house. So there's something really creative starting to bubble in you. And Libra, I feel like you're going to be seeing this very soon, that it's possible by the time we get to this the February eclipse, and we also have Neptune and Saturn hitting that 0 degrees of Aries, which hits your 7th house. There could be a new partner, or there could be a reinvigoration of a partnership. Like if you are with a partner that doesn't make you feel nurtured, that person could be gone and a new partner could be coming in. It's like, I'm only being my legit self with a partner. I'm not going to be, I've really worked on this codependency thing. I've really worked on, I do things to make myself feel safe and secure. Who doesn't? Okay. But at what expense? I feel like some of you have really sold yourself down the river just to make yourself feel safe and secure. That's all going away now. You make yourself feel safe and secure. And the people around you are going to have to like catch up to that or be gone. Fair enough? Courage, Camille. Courage underneath. Full moon. Like it. I like it. Meditate. Additional, let's see. So we have the North Node transiting the 6th house. So you might be very focused on day-to-day spirituality. And that's a really important thing. Your day-to-day practice is going to need some upgrade. Okay. So if you don't really do meditation right now, you might need to start. Or if you do meditation, maybe you need another level. Maybe you need to learn Tai Chi or need to learn some other kind of spiritual practice that you're going to do every single day to keep healthy. There's something about keeping healthy here. Okay. Meditate, trust, and the guides. Trust your intuition. Trust that the guides are coming through to you. Something about leaning into the guides, leaning into your spiritual practice that is going to make you more healthy, or that's going to bring a lot of health and nurturing to you. That's a really important thing. I wonder what's going to happen in the seventh house. I'll ask about it. Okay. I'll ask about it. Seventh house is the house of commitment, partnership. Saturn, Neptune moving into that house. So there could be some cosmic lessons about partnership that could be happening. Six of Wands. Here's the Empress. It's Leo. There's Leo here. The Strength card, the Knight of Wands, and the Lovers card, Two of Swords. There's definitely something here about a Leo. I'm also getting Gemini. And here's you, Empress. So this Knight of Wands is Sagittarian energy. We got Mercury and Sag right now, but it's moving into Capricorn very quickly. There's something about fiery inspiration. I like this. Okay. I like this. And I feel like it comes from partnership. Okay. Ace of Cups coming in. Three of Pentacles. Yes. Collaboration, partnership. Nine of Wands. I feel like you might be burning the candle at both ends. It's not good, especially when the thing that I said about your career, that anything that's not nurturing needs to go. Here's more meditation. All right. Meditation coming in really strongly in this reading. Two of Wands. Temperance. There's Sag. Five of Cups. Three of Cups. And the Knight of Cups. So new possibility in love coming back around. Somebody who may have hurt you in the past coming back around. An offer of friendship. All right. So let's clarify some stuff here. Okay. What about this Lovers, Leo energy? What about this person or this situation over here? Four of Cups. Something that has been stagnant gets a new burst of activity. Something that's been stagnant in your life. Could be a career, could be a relationship with somebody. Four of Pentacles and the Death card. We're done like holding back. There's the Knight of Wands again. Passion. We're done holding back. Something about being stagnant with money or being stagnant with resources. It's time to change that up. It's time to be a little more what's the word? Knight of Wands is like I don't know. I'm just getting like fast and loose. It's time to be a little less conservative with how you're investing your time and energy. It's time to like really put it out there. Okay. Really, this is going to be very healing for you. This is going to be very transformative. Don't be pinching pennies. Okay. Don't be holding back. I really get the feeling that some new inspiration is going to blast through that and be like, let's do something big, like really stepping into something big. Jupiter in your 10th house is big. It expands whatever it comes in contact with. So Jupiter's going to go direct March 10th. All right. And so all of this time, it's been in retrograde since July 30th, I think. So this time has been a sense of internal consideration. What do I really want? What is going to make me feel nurtured? Cancer, right? What's going to make me feel nurtured? Jupiter's exalted in Cancer. So this idea of anything that doesn't make you feel nurtured going away leaves space for something to really expand. Beautiful, beautiful energy there. And so let me ask about the Three of Pentacles over here. Empress, again. Empress, Nine of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles. Wow. And the Hierophant. You've been on your own too long, Libra. And if you haven't been on your own, it's been with somebody who's not very nurturing to you. So that's time for that to go. Anything that's stuck is going. Okay. So let's keep going with this reading. I'm going to clarify this person coming back in. Some of you have a person coming back from the past. There's definitely an offer of friendship here, but also romantic interest. Maybe it doesn't start out as romance, but there's romantic interest from this person. All right. Link is below if you want to continue on, Libra. I'll see you over there. Otherwise, Scorpio is next. All right, Scorpio, let's check out what's going on for you. The big concern slash excitement for Scorpio is, in my view, going to be around your day job. Okay. And how you, not just about your day job, but how you spend your days. What do you do every single day that brings you joy, peace, health, groundedness? It's almost like you're going to have to take the bull by the horns here, because what's moving into, you have Aries in that 6th house, and Chiron is transiting there right now. So you might have had some challenges around a day job, or like, my job keeps changing, or there's some wound underneath it though that says, I am not empowered to do what I want to do. I have to do what other people tell me to do, or something like that. We've got Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries in February. Right now, it's in your 5th house of creative expression. And so that has been a long-term issue, that maybe you haven't seen your own creativity, your own, what you're here to do. Saturn has been transiting that house of self-expression, creative self-expression, for the past 2.5 years. So you might have been like, I just got to buckle down and do what I got to do. But if you have been working hard at your creativity, then you're going to get some results from that. Okay. That could be you carrying it forward into that day job. So you might have something going on in your private life, maybe a hobby, or maybe, I don't know, something that really brings you joy, that you're going to be able to turn it into a job. Yes, that's good. I'm also noticing that a lot of the Capricorn energy, so much about that beginning part of this video was talking about Capricorn season, and the Sun, Mars, Venus, and Mercury all being in this 3rd house of Capricorn. This is saying to me that there's a lot of opportunity for you to embrace both parts of yourself, your masculine and feminine, in a very strong way, in a very powerful way. It can be through local friends, right? It can be through local situation. It's possible that I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I feel like for some of you, travel no longer holds any joy. And if that's true, and if that's part of your job, that may change. You may want to change that. You may want to become more of a homebody. Okay. I'm seeing Pluto in Aquarius in your 4th house of home. And I'm noticing all that Capricorn energy in your 3rd house of siblings, and also your local community. All of that's moving into Aquarius in that 4th house. And that 4th house is about house and home and hearth, and who we let in to nurture us. Got Pluto there. If you have lived in the very same location for a long period of time, you might be changing. It is going to bring you power to do that. If I'm wrong about the travel, and the travel is the thing you most want, that's the most nurturing thing to you, then you might be giving up like a traditional house home situation, and like the world is your oyster. And that might be your work as well, or that might impact your work as well. If you're not going to stay in one stationary place where a job is, I just get the feeling you put a lot of time and effort toward something that's local to you, something that's in your community, or a local job or something, and you're just blowing it out. Okay. You could really be blowing it out. So let's see what's going on in the reading here for my Scorpios. Message coming through for you. What's underneath? Boundaries, jealousy, and growth. I said I got this jealousy card, courage under here. I got the jealousy card for a couple of others of the signs, Scorpio, and this is about a fundamental lack of trust in how the universe works. And I feel like the universe is saying to you, you know, jealousy is really just the energy of that's what I want. So if you feel that, if you feel like jealous of somebody who lives, you know, who does like, you know, van life, if you're jealous of that, or you're jealous of someone who lives in Paris or lives in, I don't know, some exotic place, Hawaii or Vancouver or some, I don't know, Vancouver is exotic, but I love Vancouver. But like, you know, moving to an island or something like that. There's something here that's very, very innovative that you might not have had the guts to do before Saturn and Neptune moved into Aries, your day-to-day routine. If you don't change that day-to-day routine, Saturn is coming for you. Okay, Saturn is karma. So there's definitely something here that if you want to do something, if you want to get rid of travel, okay. Or if you want everything to be about travel, then okay. All right. So underneath is this 10 of Cups, 3 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles. Some of you have really spent a lot of time and effort on something very traditional, and it's not yielding much for you. I got the Lovers card and the 7 of Wands, Queen of Wands, Leo energy. You got Leo in your 10th house. So 10th house of career. Spend a lot of time and effort on something traditional, and I don't think it's working out. Okay? Page of Swords, the Knight of Cups, 6 of Swords, going across water. Might be moving across water. It's like Venice, right? It's like Venice. Hanged Man, 4 of Cups, Ace of Swords. Like, I'm done being stuck. I'm done being stuck. I don't want to be stuck anymore. I want to be living life in a big way. I want to be doing things that excite me every day. Ace of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, the 4 of Pentacles, and the Ace of Wands. You got a lot of heavy energy around you. Knight of Pentacles and the 4 of Pentacles. I feel like you stop yourself from doing things because you can't figure out the money part. How on earth do I make money if I'm doing van life? Who is the jealousy thing about? What is that jealousy thing about? Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords, Queen of Cups, and 2 of Pentacles. I feel like there's a lot of women. All right, a lot of women in your life. Maybe this is a friend group. Maybe this is a friend group that you need to leave behind. Okay. This could be about a friend group that's kind of like sedentary, stationary. They're not really doing anything. Ace of Swords, Ace of Wands, 6 of Swords. It's like nothing personal, but like, I don't see any movement here with them. Okay. And it looks like a friend group, like a girlfriend group or something like that. You have Virgo in your 11th house. Oh, okay. You Virgo in your 11th house of social networks. Okay. Those are the big things. But Capricorn is in the 3rd house of friends. Okay. Friends and local kind of connections. So 11th house can be social networks like online and friends, you know, like your Facebook friends, all the friends you went to college with, friends you went, you know, that you kept for years and years and years. Hello. I just feel like there's something really too sedentary about that. And Capricorn in that 3rd house says, I've got to put some energy behind moving. Making movement. Maybe it could be even as small as like, you know, we don't really go out anymore. We don't really do anything. There could be that. Okay. So that's something that you're wanting to change. Who you let into your life is going to change. All right. So I'm going to continue on with this reading, Scorpio. There's a link below if you want to continue on. Otherwise, Sagittarius is next. All right, my lovely Saggies, what is going on for you? If you watched the beginning of this video, I highly recommend you do, because I talk through all the astrology. And right now, I want to focus you on the Capricorn season and the Capricorn energy that is hitting your second house of how you make money. So Venus, Mars, and the Sun are there. Mercury will be there soon. And that is going to be some really beautiful energy that will help you not only decide what you want, right? Venus, but know how to get it, Mars. And then the Sun comes along and lights up Venus. This is what I want. And then lights up Mars and says, this is how I get it. Mercury is also going to have that happen. It's called a cazimi, when the Sun conjuncts with a planet. We have a lot of Mercury cazimis because it moves so fast, throughout the year. And Mars and Venus to a lesser degree. What's really interesting is as we move through Capricorn time, this is about you putting time and effort toward, sort of like the second house is about your worth and value and knowing that and getting commensurate financial, income, revenue streams, whatever it is, for the value you're putting out into the world. Now, Capricorn is about putting time and energy and effort into things. So it's not just like, I'm going to wave a magic wand and there's going to be money falling from the sky. This is about you knowing what you want and taking action on it. Those planets then, toward the end of the month, are going to move into the third house of communication for you. And you have Aquarius there. So this self-worth and this, action orientation and this, this Sun energy and Mercury about like the stories I'm telling, all moving into the house of communication is going to really amplify this. Now, Aquarius already has Pluto there, and Pluto moves very slowly. So the Sun is going to come along and light up Pluto. So the Pluto energy is about your power. So you knowing your worth and value and you putting energy and effort and your shoulder like behind the things you want is going to fuel this next chapter of yours in a big way. Pluto is about change and transformation. It's also about taking back your power. And so you're taking back your voice, or you're putting your voice out there in a bigger way. In terms of, so at the same time, so that Capricorn's in the second house, Cancer's up in the 8th house. And Cancer, we have a full moon on the 3rd of January in Cancer. And that is about letting go of anything that doesn't feel like it's nurturing to me. So you're doing things, you're being bold and putting things out there and saying, this is what I want. This is what I want. And Cancer energy in that 8th house says anything that doesn't feel nurturing is dead to me. It's the house of death and rebirth. You got Jupiter there too. Jupiter's in retrograde. It's going to go direct, not until March though. So there's definitely something here about your inner feeling of how I care for myself, but how others care for me too. This might be a very secret kind of thing to you because 8th house is about what goes on behind the scenes. There might be a little bit of secrecy there, that you might also have like a secret love or a secret crush that may be getting activated in this full moon, or you might be done with. It's like, I'm done with, sort of hoping this person comes back. I'm done with this stuff. Like I might be moving on from that. But just saying, next year, at the end of January, when we're moving into Aquarius time. So all those planets going to be in that 3rd house of how you speak very dynamically and how you show your integrated masculine feminine, which I really like, and taking your power back in that 3rd house. In the 4th house of Pisces sits in 4th house energy is about who I allow into my life, into my space, into my home. You've had Saturn there for 2.5 years. So you might have kicked some people out of your home. Okay. Or you might have done the work of creating a home for yourself. Neptune has been right there too. And Neptune is about this sort of spiritual practice. So you might have a real sanctuary, and it required you to get rid of people and or get rid of stuff that wasn't really aligning with that. So this month, you may put some effort and time into creating a sanctuary for yourself. That might be something that's really powerful to you. And Saturn and Neptune moving into the 5th house of Aries, there could definitely be some bold directions in 2026 for you. And we'll see that as the year unfolds. February is going to be a big deal. Okay, so let's get going on the reading and see what's going on. There's a new moon in Capricorn that happens near the end of the month. Well, middle of the month, the 18th. There's going to be a new moon in Capricorn. So your goals and vision for what you want may be really, really big and dynamic. And then Aquarius has to get set with like, all right, let's get this vision going. So that's going to be happening. Ooh, I love this. Transmute. Trust. You're changing in a big way. Shift. Trust the shift. Psychic. Some of you are really opening. Remember what I just said about Pisces in that 4th house of spiritual sanctuary? This is going to get more powerful for you as that house gets activated. That 4th house. I get the feeling you spend a lot of time, sort of getting rid of old energy. And now like this new energy is really important, like in the 11th hour here, because we've had Neptune in that house since 2011. And we've had Saturn there for 2.5 years. So it's time for you to let go of this old cycle. And with Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries, the first sign, that's really about you. It's almost like you being a kid again, or you starting over or something like that. Starting over in like a leveling up kind of way. Okay, not starting over from scratch, but starting over on leveling up. High Priestess, some kind of big spiritual psychic. Some of you are really opening up your spiritual gifts. Yes, look at this. The Judgment card, the 2 of Cups, the 10 of Swords, the 7 of Pentacles, and the Emperor. There has been an Emperor, a masculine energy standing in the way. Like maybe you've been focused too much on this person's needs, wants, desires, or focused on them coming back to you. It's like, that's done. I am done with this. Or this person, it doesn't have to be a love interest, could be a family member or something like that. Like you're really done with this person and taking the bull by the horns for yourself. You're stepping into being Aries. You're the power. All right. I love that. There's Sag energy. Knight of Wands, 4 of Swords, 8 of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, the Justice card, the Devil card, Page of Swords, and the Sun. Oh, yeah. Okay, so there have been opportunities you've been offered in the past that you couldn't do because of this person, or didn't want to, and now you're like, hell no, I'm going to do what I want to do now. There's something here about maybe moving, physically moving. You've had somebody standing on your cape for a while here. What is this 2 of Cups, 10 of Swords? That's over, my friend. King of Wands, 4 of Pentacles, the Moon, and the 7 of Wands. Okay, let's like knight in shining armor kind of storyline that says, I've been putting my life on hold, hoping that you come back, and I'm not doing that anymore. Some of you could have been like putting someone on a pedestal, and it really drains your energy. So that is gone. That's got to be gone. But the more spiritually aligned you become, the more you see it. The more you see the spiritual path ahead, the more you realize this person could be Cancerian, could be a Leo, could be an Aries. The full moon is the time when you really sort of flush this out of your life. And there's the 4 of Swords, more meditation. 10 of Wands. Yeah, 5 of Wands, 6 of Wands. You're going to come out on top here. The Hanged Man and the Page of Cups. So somebody has just worn out their welcome with you. And this might have been going on for a while. You might know this, but we're moving out of the year of the snake. Right. And really, I mean, January 1, okay, like the beginning of the new year. But I really feel like this year it's going to be February 20th when Saturn and Neptune move into your 5th house of creative self-expression, of doing the work of healing any kind of childhood wounds. Like you might have been very mystically confused. And now that Jupiter in your 8th house, this whole transformation that's happening is super right on time. Okay. And I want you to especially not be upset that this has taken you a long time. It takes the time it takes. You're right on time. Okay, Sag, you're right on time. So let's continue this reading. There's a link below if you want to keep going with me. Otherwise, Happy New Year. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.